Again, if you've got guests for dinner, you can make this at 4 o'clock. Your dinner party's at 6. You can enjoy the festivities with your friends and family. And then you pull this out and people will think they died and went to heaven.
Welcome to a space where healthy food not only makes you feel good, it warms your heart and soul with love. Learn how to turn local organic produce into mouth-watering meals that nourish your body and soul. This is the art of cooking from the heart.
Welcome back, everybody, to Giving Tree Cafe, healthiest restaurant in America, food demonstration. I'm just imagining you all, maybe like me, sometimes are really in a hurry and need to make a quick dessert. Let's pretend that you're doing a food demonstration and on the menu is a dessert and you completely forgot it and didn't even remember that it was there. And then in the morning you say, well, what dessert are you going to make? And I go, oh yeah, okay. This is it. It literally takes 2 minutes in the blender. And if you made a pie crust for it, made into a pudding pie, it might take you 5 minutes. But if you're going to pour it into little martini glasses, it's even less. So without further ado, it's super fun and easy. Oftentimes in recipes like this where you add water and there's a lot of other powdery type ingredients, we do the water last. But the reason I'm doing the water first is I made this recipe a couple hundred times, and more than that actually, and I know exactly what the proportions are, so I know I'm gonna nail the consistency. Otherwise, you'd start with maybe half this much water if you're kind of making this up on your own, and then you'd add water little by little until you nailed the consistency that you're going for. Keep in mind that things like, because we only use whole foods here, avocados aren't the same in January as they are in July. And so sometimes you get them that are kind of dry and sometimes they're very, very wet. And so that's going to always make a difference too. Coconut cream isn't going to change at all. Vanilla isn't going to change. Maple syrup's not going to change. And 100% raw organic cacao from Ecuador isn't going to change, but your avocados will. And so all these recipes are subject to a little bit of tweaking, okay? If you make this recipe and go, oh my goodness, I ruined it. Look, it's not as fluffy as when David made it. It's not you, it's the natural ingredients that you're using. So, and the reason you add the water first then is everything blends a lot better that way. It's much easier to blend when you do it that way. I'm putting in cacao powder, coconut cream. By the way, this coconut cream, you're not going to be able to replicate yourself unless you get it from ChocolaTree in Sedona. What they do is they take coconut meat and coconut water, and there's big stone grinders that are about 6 feet wide. They grind it for 48 hours, and it makes this beautiful cream here. And it's unbelievable how delicious it is and how thick and vibrant it is. Most of you are probably going to go get that stuff in a little can that they make Thai coffees with, which is fine. You can use that, or any kind of coconut cream, but this is really, this is it. Maple syrup. You know that maple syrup in Whole Foods, it's like $30 for a little 16 ounces of it? That's what we use for this. Good to the last drop. Little bit of vanilla extract. Does it say pinch of salt? Could you hand me the salt, please? Oh, you got it? Oh, never mind, here it is. Nicole's got it. Do you know why everything has a pinch of salt in it? It's a dessert. Why would we put salt in a dessert? That's right, brings out the flavors. And also, we talked about this last time, if you want your food to taste amazing, the number one thing you can do is make sure that it hits all 5 parts of your palate all the time, every bite. And so you want it to be salt, sour, bitter, pungent, and what am I missing? Umami. And so when you do that, there's salt in here, there's sweet in here. Cacao can be bitter and pungent. So we've hit all those. Does that make sense? And so that's one of the reasons this tastes amazing. It's not me, it's that. So I said this only took a minute, and I've been talking too long and it's taken me longer, but it really is quick. You don't have to do this, but I like to score it a little bit. It just blends a little easier. If you're happy doing that with your knife, then go ahead. If it looks too scary, then by all means don't do it.
You're talking about drier avocados. I was reading somewhere that you can store your avocados in water.
Yeah. I don't know that it adds any wetness to it at all, but it is a preservative. It is a way to preserve them for sure. And you know, they're so dang expensive nowadays. You don't want, you know, $12 worth of avocados going to waste. And so when they get to be this point, you just stick them in water in the refrigerator and they'll last a long time. Because we go through so many here so often, we go through several cases a week, I can't really tell you that they stick around a long time, but I've had them in my refrigerator at home for over a week and it's amazing. Thank you, Nicole. Perfect. Let's see what we got here. So it's been like a minute and a half, right? Let's see where we're at. Pretty good, pretty good. But I'll let you be the judge. This is nicer up here, right? Now, this gets even nicer when we let it cool. Nicole, can I get another blender for the strawberries, please?
You could let it cool in the fridge in those glasses, yeah.
Exactly. But look how thick it is already. Again, if you've got guests for dinner, you can make this at 4 o'clock. Your dinner party's at 6. You can enjoy the festivities with your friends and family. And then you pull this out and people will think they died and went to heaven. We're going to make Strawberry Coulis, and all we need is a little bit of that balsamic vinegar. What's the question?
Chocolate being an aphrodisiac.
Oh, right, absolutely. So all we added to this was balsamic vinegar and a little bit of maple. I'm going to put a little vanilla in it, maybe. Now for this to really come out right, I would have to refrigerate it, and I didn't. So I don't know that I want to use it, but maybe we'll give you just a little bit. Balsamic vinegar, maple syrup, a little vanilla, and a pinch of salt. And we're going to put like a half a teaspoon of xanthan in there to kind of thicken it up a little bit. Those of you that just want strawberry, here you go. Again, this actually needs to cool for this part to be thicker, but we're going to give you a little bit of the flavor anyway, just for the fun of it. Any questions on desserts? You can. What happens if you freeze this is it gets a little bit crystallized on the top. It's not going to ruin it at all. I wouldn't do it and serve it at the restaurant, but I certainly would do it at home and serve it to my friends and family. That make sense? Because certainly if you make 10 of them at home and you only serve 6 and you want to save them, you don't want to throw it away. And heaven forbid if you have to eat 4 more extra desserts at one night. No one's going to ever do that, right? My dear friend Kelly was already at the building that is now ChocolaTree, renting space. It was a different restaurant before we bought it. And Kelly's the one that inspired me for about a year because he was doing chocolate like nobody does. And still to this day, ChocolaTree is the largest selection of raw organic chocolate in the world. No one's doing what they're doing. It's unbelievable what they've got going on there. Anyway, he inspired me, and before we bought the restaurant, he was sending me chocolate. I was living in England at the time, and I was kind of experimenting with it a little bit and making stuff like this. And he was making chocolates that would just blow me away. And so it really was quite inspirational, and that's why the name is ChocolaTree. It's because of Kelly and his chocolates there.